Pita Lincharanrat, Member of Parliament, Move Forward Party Leader. You got to be able to find the balance between pragmatism and ideology. For our MPs to run for office in the first place is that we have to have our principles and ideology, right? It's not just to win elections and get into power, but it's also getting into power for the right reason and for the right cause in order to make change happen. So in order for us to be pragmatic and instead of going straight to the people, we go wholesale politics, if you know what I mean, rather than retail politics, going down to the people and do it the old ways. To be pragmatic and fill up our party resources by obtaining money from the big corporates, big large donations like any other parties. And that takes away our legitimacy to talk about the merger of big retailers or big telecom conglomerates. I think that's not the way that the politics should be run. And I would counter that kind of question that there's nothing wrong with being ideological. And it's not just winning elections, but it's also domination of ideas. If we are in the parliament and we speak about these ideas and it rings a bell with a lot of people, and it will be a boomerang back to all the existing politicians to start migrating towards these kind of things rather than the old way of doing things, which doesn't go anywhere. It's like the inertia within the system. I mean, we're pretty new, 4 years in politics is still pretty new. If you look at it as a snapshot, you might be correct. But in terms of a flow, in terms of, there's a past, there's present, and there's future going forward. I feel like there's a change in the electorates, in the way they think about it. Every time when we go down and I meet with the potential MPs, I tell them, you got to make sure that your value is more than 2,000 baht. It's about you fighting back against a malpractice in mining in your district. It's about you fighting against poorly designed waste management companies that is based from China, for example. So if you can prove that you have value more than 2,000 baht, which you can use us in the parliament, you can use Land and Natural Resources Committee, you could use political inclusiveness committees that we share, and we can show these people that, it's good to have a political party by your side, and you can show them the new way of doing things without even giving them a dime, or without showing up in like funerals and that only. It's important for you to go, to show up and to show your faces, but you got to use the parliament as a system that show that you are worth more than what they are given. Land bank is a Brazilian system where you have, instead of relying on bureaucracy of the government, redistributing it, you're using more of a capitalistic system, which is the bank. And then what we do is we take away the land from the public side. Usually land is owned by the federal government or the local government, and not so much on the private sector. 62% to be precise here in Thailand. So what I wanted to do is to lower that number from 62 down to about 30, which is the world's average. And how you do that is you take that away from all the ministries. From the army, for example, 10 million riyals belongs to the army for no use. I want to take away some of those unutilized land into this land bank. And we want to make sure that all the people who are in need of this redistribution come to the bank and ask for those lands and then distribute it out, rather than using a ministry or a government-backed institution that will take forever. For example, it's called Kotosho. They consolidate all the land from 8 different ministries into one. It sounds like a good idea that when you consolidate it, you'll be able to see the transparency of land ownership. However, they make it slow. They slow it down by having the national budget of about 300 million baht. It will take them 72 years to be precise in order to distribute it properly, rather than having a bank that takes care of all the land distribution. That would be a much quicker way of doing it.